Hmm.
What's up, Lance?
All the things.
What's up, people?
Hi, people and things.
How are you?
I am happy. This was a tiring weekend, but a good one. We've been working and working and working at the cottage, and I think we're on the downhill side. We've actually got, it's actually, we can just, at the point where we can just show up if we want and not have to do 4,000 things, which is really good.
So, like a hotel.
Like a hotel. Yep. But we may have a shower. So here's what I learned how to do this time was cut galvanized metal.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I only have abrasion here. But we should do it. Actually, that's what we should do. And I have a cut here. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have a scab up here. I banged into something. And I have a blister right here. But that's not bad, all in all. So yeah, really good. Just like it was very fun. So we put in a galvanized metal shower stall on two of the walls. And so we had to insulate it and then use backer board, which I hadn't done before with this like cement backer board that I had to cut to fit. And then the galvanized metal, which had to be precisely cut for the pipes to go through, um, which that could have gone in all kinds of directions. And actually, we nailed it on the first time through. I was like shocked, super shocked. I did arguably functional, useful, um, homeowner-ish type stuff.
Wow.
There you go.
There you go.
How about you?
The the I did not do any work with galvanized metal. I
Oh,
don't actually even know what that is.
do you care?
Um.
I can tell you. If not, I won't.
Oh, yeah, someone in the audience cares, so you can tell me. But I'm
It's
I'm
that
not that person.
ripply,
But
it's like you see it on a roof often.
uh
It's wavy. It's usually a roofing material,
got it.
but it also it's waterproof, and the cottage is rustic-ish, so it was a good application of it because just cut the sheets, blew them up, and they're waterproof.
Cut the sheet, man.
Cut the sheets, man. There's no more sheets. So,
I
oh, Andrew, did I tell you about? Maybe I did, but I'm emceeing the ABC thing on the 4th of July, and I told you who the guest was, didn't I?
I don't know.
Boston Brass.
Oh, you did tell me. Yeah, I think you told me that in our meeting.
Oh, I might have, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
That should be entertaining. It'd be fun to
That's,
be able to make fun of Jeff Connor in person again.
they're playing a live gig in Joplin, Missouri.
Joplin, there you
Yeah,
go.
yep. And I saw Seraph Brass was headed somewhere. Canadian was headed somewhere. It's like, yeah, there's motion.
Things are
So
happening.
yes, things are happening. I'm excited for all
Verb.
of them.
That's what's happening.
The
You know what that
um
is?
I don't.
That's from Schoolhouse Rock.
I've not seen that.
Verb.
I've been told that it's good, that I would
You've never
enjoy it.
seen any of them?
Mm-mm.
Really? Construction Junction, that's a good one. I'm Just a Bill is a good one. Three is a magic number. 369, 12, 15,
Oh, the
18,
I'm just a bill.
21,
Yes, I
24,
yes.
27, 30. Man and a woman had a little baby.
So,
Yes, they did.
wow. Um, the I overdid it on the rowing machine the other day,
Nice.
which is a good ass kicking. And I asked Tiffany, I was like, "What are these muscles?" And she said, and "This is like the next day." And she said, "Those are your trapezoids." And I was like, "Well, my trapezoids are more opinionated right now than I was in high school." And then she said, without flinching, she said, "Wait, did your levels of opinionatedness like peak in high school?" I was like, I was like, it's one of those rare moments where my immediate instinct was to just stop talking. So as you know, that's not usually my first or eighth. I just shut it down, and she just
All
looked
right.
at me with
I
very
have a
proud.
question.
Yes.
So, what kind of a rowing machine did you get? or do you
Uh,
have?
I don't. We got a nice-ish one. I don't know.
Is it one that has like the thing that rotates? Does it have water in it? Is it like hydraulic? Like is it
it does. I think it has a spinning thing in it,
spinning thing? Hmm.
and it's very smooth. Yeah, it was like. I mean, I'm sure that you can spend $25,000 on a rowing machine because rich people literally have to figure out ways to spend their money other than giving it to charity,
Right.
which they don't usually like to do. But this was not like I don't know, it was like $1,200. It wasn't. You can get them for like
Oh,
$600. It's like it was a nice one because they're supposed to work a hell of a lot better than the cheapest ones in terms of smoothness and longevity and all of that. So
I've been toying with getting one, and the one I was thinking about, I wonder if it's that one because it was right around that price point. Because it seems like you said, like, not that you can't find a decent one less than that, but that's like I
we
have a
yeah.
rule of thumb for ukuleles, which is spend more than $50, which is not much for a ukulele, but below $50, you've got kindling
Yeah.
or something to hang on the wall. But above $50, it'll the frets will actually be in line, and you can actually play it. So there's
I
a point
am
beyond which that the rower, I think, below it, I think you're not.
I'm happy to get the actual information for you. So it was Tiffany who researched it and who bought it. I think it's the one that Wirecutter recommends. Um, yeah, it's
That's the
really
one
good.
Will recommended too, because he I talked to him about it at one point too. He had one that was right in that bucket. I don't know why I said bucket twice, but that's three.
Look at Andrew McGowan is a big nerd. Galvanized metal is zinc coated in order to be waterproof, weather resistant. That's actually helpful. I don't know why I'm being mean
Yeah,
to him. Thank you, Andrew.
it's true.
Yeah.
Hi, Randy.
Um, so there you go. Yeah. So my wife called my bluff on my opinionatedness peaking in high school.
Do you think
But
it's on a been a on a no, well, let's see. Did it like just boom? Were you born with it and then you just wrote it out and it speaks of it, or did it like do this, or is it on this? What kind?
I don't know because I mean, early on is like if you do any research about like babies and children, you very quickly figure out that the consensus at this point is that babies tend to have you are born with a temperament, and there's like a certain number of them. But a lot of parents when they have nice calm babies, they're like, oh well, that's because I did this, and then we always did this, and not that like routine and all that. It's like I have no opinions. Just the experts say that in general, you kind of tend to be born with a kid has a type, and then you can either mess that up or not mess it up. But it has more to do with the type of the kid.
Mhm.
And I think I was a pretty opinionated little little man. So yeah, and I don't. But I don't. I don't remember any of that back then. So um,
I also feel, and this might get me into some trouble, but I do feel like that the students and humans who have interacted with from Massachusetts do definitely have strong feelings about many things. Not that others from other states do not, but I have found enough regularity that I go, that's interesting. Where are you from? And they go, Massachusetts. And I go, interesting.
hmm.
So I haven't said that about other states, but there's no necessary correlation there. It's just an observation.
Well, I mean, the whole East Coast thing, I mean, especially like
Fair.
when you say East Coast, like the Northeast, like, the whole DC to what is it called? The megalopolis, the DC to
Hmm.
Boston corridor tends to just kind of, yeah, that's definitely whether that's nature or nurture. That's definitely how I tend to, that's my natural state is just like, I'm always in a hurry. Just kind of
Hmm.
get out of my way. I'll get out of I'll get out of yours to the best of my ability. So,
That makes sense. I only had one like strict rule with babies, which is never to wake a sleeping baby under any
of
circumstances.
course, of course. And
That's just like
and
you're
of
just
course
asking
if
for
you
trouble.
can wire children to like if you make sure that they're well, and you can never make sure this 100%, but if in general you make sure that they don't get hungry, then that helps them to not get upset. And
Yeah.
if you can kind of give them a normalized schedule, there's a lot you can do. But I think there are a lot of There are a lot of parents, especially on Facebook, who take a lot of credit and say they know a lot of stuff when they have two data points, like in their entire lives, and they're like acting as if they're, some sort of like a child behavioral psychologist who has been working at Children's Hospital in Boston and has like, clinically dealt with 3,000 children in their life. And it's like,
Right.
you got Bill and Susie there. That's your data set there. But anyway,
My
um,
wife has observed that many problems are just with humans in general. If you start with, is the human I'm dealing with tired or hungry? That actually that works if it's me or our teenagers or our tweens or our, not tweens, our 20s, whatever's.
there's an acronym that I've heard, which is HALT, which is hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And that's
Mm.
those four things tend to not get the best version of things. So, and then that loops into the whole my three question thing. Like if I'm going to open my mouth and there's an even remote possibility that it's going to be contentious, I try, and I have a pretty good success rate of starting the sequence. But to ask the three questions: does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? And does this need to be said by me right this second? And rarely do I get three yeses on that. If it's going to be contentious, and frequently I'll get the yes, like yes, Lance needs to hear this, and then the second one is like yes, I am the only or the best person to tell Lance. But does Lance need to hear this from me right this second is almost always like an ego thing. That's just like because you're going to hear it better tomorrow or in a week or when we're face to face or rather than over text like when we zoom next, like that kind of a thing. So
I'm glad
um
you waited for the right time to tell me that.
I got to start that sequence with you all the damn time. It's like all I do. So yeah, I feel like I'm bunting with two strikes with you, but anyway.
Hmm.
um so there's my three question sequence. I have still to this day, I've never apologized. I don't know if I have less opinions. I think I do have less opinions than I used to, but I sure as hell share a lot less of them. like
Mm.
like just in general. Like I don't engage that often in on social media with people I disagree with. I don't. I just tend to just kind of. Yeah, I tend to. If there's a constructive way to do it, but there's like an awful lot of people who like talking politics or whatever who are just looking for conflict. They're not actually looking for. There's no meaningful discussion that happens. So I tend to just avoid that. Um, yeah, because that's one of those like, well, what am I actually trying to accomplish here? So, and I do talk politics on social media, but I don't tend to engage with the people who are idiots about it, at least approaching it like idiots. And I don't mean idiots meaning that they disagree with me. I just mean the people who are just looking to ruffle feathers.
I
So
think this, and they say you're a fat stupid face.
yeah, or just like they come onto your Facebook, like when they've got the beautiful thing about Facebook is you don't have to pay extra to get your own broadcast. It's
Mm.
like everybody's got their own. So like in general, I'm not like, hopping in, especially people I only tangentially know. Well, there was a tuba player who used to live in your fine city who I got into it with, who just like kept jumping into my threads and just being an ass. So
Mm.
um, yeah, like not helpful.
Mm.
And then he got mad at me for not engaging with his not helpful comments. Um, and then I said something to him in a message which upset him and he blocked me. So I was like, thank you. Thank you for saving me the trouble.
What is that? Is that insecurity or it's like not? I mean, in all seriousness, what's the motivation? Like, is it people? Is it the Halt thing?
Could be. It could be. Yeah, to me, it's like there are people who are. I got some strong opinions about politics and social issues and that kind of thing, but those opinions have changed over the years. It's not like I'm unwilling to change, but when people make superficial comments that are in a stir the pot kind of a way,
Hmm.
that's not. I don't choose to engage with that. And then when somebody That is kind of a weird thing though. Like when this dude got mad at me for because one of his comments, which was unhelpful, which was going to attract other people who agreed with me, who were just going to like tell him to stop. Like I hid
Hmm.
his comment. Like I didn't. I don't.
Oh.
Or I deleted it because it wasn't moving anything forward at all. And then he messaged me and was like, "Did you delete my comment?" And then said like "weak," and yeah, and then I was and then what I said was because I didn't know who it was, and I was like, "How do we even know each other?" And it turned out it's a professional tuba player, I guess, and that I think made him very mad. so
Mm.
he's like, "You don't have to worry about it anymore," and then he blocked me. I was like, "Okay, there we go." It was a genuine question. I just like because the way that he was talking to me implied that like we know each other really well, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't even know who this dude is. So, but there are people
Tell
that
me
do
later.
that anyway.
So
Um,
Prisk, did you see Prisk's comment there?
oh, about how fish sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Prisk sucks. Actually, he doesn't. But
All right,
um,
I have another question that is not to do with you suddenly being super energized about practicing.
oh yeah, which is true, by the way.
So the NFL draft happened this week, I think. Now, here's a question. Is it over?
It is over.
Okay, and then are you happy about the results? Like, was there anything like seismic or exciting that I should know about? I mean, I don't mean Pittsburgh specific. I just mean like, was there like some noteworthy thing, or are you particularly excited about something that happened?
I mean, not in particular. I mean, the
No.
Patriots seem to have a good draft. They needed a quarterback since the really good one left. And yeah, and one of there was kind of a consensus like five really good ones, and one of them fell to us all the way at 15, which is good.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I'm not, nothing. I don't follow it nearly as closely as I used to, and I still follow it. Like, but I used to do like mock drafts. I used to be the commissioner of 3 fantasy football leagues. Like, I was all in. So yeah,
Pittsburgh got Najee Harris, is what Zach told me, and I'm happy about this, Andrew.
sure, sure.
I mean, this is a good player. This has helped me.
So I would have to look up to see who
Oh,
that
okay.
is because I have been very checked out of college football now for a number of years. Again, I used to be like all in on college football, but I just haven't really been feeling it. As you know, I'm such a huge sports nut that I still follow football a lot more than most people who call themselves big football fans, but just compared to what it used to be, it's way more localized. It's like my Twitter list is like 4 or 5 Patriots beat writers, and then there's like a few national people, but I don't follow, I don't know all of the inner workings of the Steelers or of their
Gotcha.
draft. Yeah.
Zach said I should be happy. He's one of the best running backs that Alabama ever had.
Oh, well, yeah, that's debatable. Now I'm remembering who that is. But yeah. Steelers fans tend to I guess if Zach's well, I've said too much. Um
See?
the
That's what's getting you into trouble, Andrew.
Yeah.
I just asked you a nice, innocent
You did.
question.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. The oh hey, Ron, see I geez, this thing is still busted. Randy Westmoreland, what's up, man?
Michael
Um
Jordan said something like the other side buys sneakers too. That's a good point. As a person who monetizes your online persona, do you ever worry about stating your political or other views? Says Dave Topping.
that's a really good question. Very quickly, in terms of yeah, in terms of Harris, the oh geez, I just accused a Bengals fan of being a Steelers fan. That's like I'm
See what you
surprised.
did?
I'm surprised he hasn't blocked all of us and reported us.
He's
Uh,
driving to you right now.
my my apologies, Zach. I don't. I Jeez, goodness gracious, I never heard Rolf Smedvig say something meaner than that to anybody in Empire. Um, the so one of the things about all the Alabama players though is that their offense, they just had, I believe it was 5 offensive players drafted in the first round, including the
Hmm,
quarterback that the Patriots got. So meaning that some people are wondering because there was such talent around them that it kind of lifted. And they're all going to be really good, but yeah. Great question from Dave Topping. I used to not speak about politics on social media at all, and that has changed over the last like 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah, it felt like, and I'm sure that it has cost us some. Well, I know for a fact because there were a couple of people who I know who bailed on Patreon for us right after the Mike Nickens episode where we wasn't a Mike Nickens thing, but we talked about Black Lives Matter and yeah, knowing their political leanings, I'm sure they were absolutely like apoplectic that we brought that into the show. And that's nice. Like, have a good day. So I couldn't, I only speak for me. I couldn't justify staying quiet on all of those fronts any longer. So, I'm sure that it will cost me some residencies. I'm sure it will cost us some listeners. But yeah, that's not really the most important thing at this point. So
Yeah, I've just sort of pieced out altogether. Not because of politics, but I'm happy to sit on the sidelines about anything controversial and just share. I mean, Andrew, by God knows how I feel about things, but that's just the way I happen to deal with it. And as a side note, I think that the word apoplectic is one of my favorite words. I think it's just great. And you didn't ask, but I've recently become fond of calling people nitwits, and I've
that's a,
done it on the show a number of times. There's like a something satisfying about it,
yeah,
but it doesn't have like doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, at least yet that I've talked to.
right.
Like I can call a student a nitwit, and I don't have to have a meeting. I can call a loved one a nitwit, and they still talk to me, but it still feels good. There's like a yeah nitwit. I call myself a nitwit because I have nitwit-ish tendencies,
Amen to that.
nitwit-esque.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, I tend to think, like when we were growing up, I'm sure that you were taught this too, right? It's like the two things that you don't like talk to people about in general are politics and religion, right? Like those are the two things.
Hee-haw.
But yeah, and hee-haw. Yes, those are the. I always forget. My parents were kind of phoning it in after about year 5, so I always forget the hee-haw part. Um, but that's how power structures stay in place. That's how injustices happen, like generation after generation after generation. If the people that are in power are literally raised to not talk about questioning it, then yeah. So that's kind of why I've decided to start speaking up. So there was there was once a nitwit from Niles. I like it. That was yeah, that's like a dirty limerick waiting to happen. Um, there we go. Who traveled many many miles? Oh gosh.
Oh, it's
Oh
happening.
wait, I have a question for you, Lance Leduc. Today I was
Answers
teaching a
four.
today I was teaching a lesson, and suddenly I got a notification on my phone that I had never heard before that you were starting a group video Facebook Messenger call with me
Hmm.
and Jim Nova. And I said to my student, I can pretty much guarantee you that Lance did this because he's old and he doesn't know that he did it. Did you intentionally try to start a video call on Facebook between me and Jim Nova
Nope.
today?
I didn't even know until if you hadn't told me, I would not have known that almost that almost happened.
Well, and it said that Jim answered.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. I got
Interesting.
the notification that Jim answered, and then if you want to join the call, then like you can. Um,
Well, that's funny.
that is pretty funny.
I wonder what we talked about.
I
That's pretty
oh,
funny.
I
No, I didn't even know that was a thing that occurred.
it was a sound that my phone had never made before, and yeah, and then and I was like, what is this? Then I was like, it's coming from Lance. I was like, that older gentleman is totally doing that by accident.
There's 0% chance he means to do that.
Yeah,
So,
correct. Yep. There's a 0% chance that and I thought there was a good chance that you didn't even know that you had done it, which turned out was true.
even
So
better.
yep.
Yeah.
So guess what?
I was meaning to ask you, are you suddenly super energized about practicing?
Nope.
Oh,
I am.
I read it somewhere.
I am. The
Tuba?
This is, yes, tuba. Yes, tuba. Like not bass, not patience, not anything else. Yeah, I
Taxidermy?
like tuba. The inside the practice room, and this is going to sound like I'm trying to sell stuff, which I'm not, I swear. The inside the practice room that I did with Jeff
On
Nelson
sale now.
was 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 the as Asante Samuel, the former cornerback for the Patriots, said when he was up for contract negotiations and he was only making like $7 million a year. Let me also be clear, especially football players, they are used like a completely disposable commodity by billionaires, and they should try and get every
Yep,
single possible penny that they can get as early and often
I
as they
agree.
can. But he said something to the effect of, "Well, I've got to eat." Was like, which was funny with a guy making $7 million a year, and he was like talking about how he had to eat. So, um, the that inside the practice room with Jeff Nelson was incredible. It was incredible. I've started using a Pomodoro timer for
Hmm.
this, you're not going to believe this. You're going to wonder if I'm not well. I have a practicing journal now. Like, I'm actually writing down like how many 25-minute intervals I'm doing, like what time I've been writing down, whether it's on the XO, on the F tuba. I've done 5 days in a row now of like 3 octaves of pianissimo long tones, going chromatically. I'm usually starting low C, going down to pedal C, and then going back to the low C sharp, and then going up to the C above the staff, which is like building strength. And like, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's the timer thing is like, it's been a total game changer for me. Like, total game changer.
And then do you do the 25-minute, 25 on, 20, 25 on, 5 off? Is it you do the
Nope,
traditional?
it's just 25 on, and then and so I'm just trying to get a number of those in
I
general.
see.
Yep, and I know that like the traditional use of the timer is 25 on, 5 off, 25 on, 5 off. I don't have long stretches of I get to do whatever I want kind of thing. I put something in the oven for dinner the other night, and the timer was for 35 minutes, and I knew that I then headed straight downstairs, and I was like, had the tuba in my lap within 30 seconds, and I hit the timer, and I got in exactly 25 minutes. Like, just because I knew that that was happening. I try to be done playing by like 9 p.m. Sometimes I go a little over that. So like, in terms of like my last session of the day, I just know that I need to try and start that by 8:35. Yeah, it's like it's structured things on like a number of levels, and the only thought that I've put into it is using the timer, and it's like the trickle down has been amazing.
Okay, and so uh,
Oh,
it
sorry. There's one more important detail, which is that this was actually what got me to use it. Was that Jeff's rule, and I have done this, is that when the timer goes off, not a single other note happens, and so it like
right.
completely focuses the 25 minutes. Because if I want to try and get X done, then if I'm trying to cover all 3 octaves, which has been taking me, I mean, they're long tones, and I'm just playing them as long as I can with a good sound. So they've been taking around like 21, 22 minutes. Like, if I screw around in the middle, like, I'm not going to finish it. And it's like, and it's just like, it's done. Like, as soon as the timer goes off, it's done. Which, sorry, that was the other thing that's kind of interesting, which has really focused me. Yeah, a
Hmm.
lot.
I 9 million years ago, when I was getting ready for the Air Force band audition, I was experimenting with all sorts of routines, and I read a thing somewhere that said that the brain can process information, or you can like stay intense for somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, and everybody's a little different. This is before I had even heard about the Pomodoro technique. So I just tracked for a while. Like, I would do intense practice, I would set a timer, and then I would note, then I would, when I was like burned out, I would look and see when it was. And it was almost always between 20 and 22 minutes. Like, it was just crazy.
Hmm.
And so then I just integrated it this is back in 1990 before I even knew what I just knew that that was when I was getting diminished returns.
Hmm.
And so then, so why then the practice? So in the journal, are you are you tracking more than just the numbers of 25-minute sessions?
Um, so I don't really have a system yet because I like just started this. But I wrote down yesterday first practice session. Today I started writing down the times. But first one was 25 minutes, and then I put XO just so I know which horn it was, and then I wrote drone and funk groove. I've been playing with a lot of funk drum grooves on YouTube, like reading etudes and doing scales and arpeggios and that kind of thing, like with a funk groove. So I just wrote the tools that I used, and then I was working out of the Simondl, I'm assuming it's pronounced, book, which is like a bass method book from back in the day, and I wrote that down. And then I wrote down that I did all that soft stuff, and then the third session I did yesterday was so I only did 3 of the 25-minute sessions. I'm not preparing for an audition here. It's not like I'm trying to
Yeah.
get in 3 hours of playing. But it was like 3 25-minute sessions that were insanely focused, like all in focused, which especially in the pandemic, it's like that has not been happening.
Hmm.
I mean, I have one gig on the books right now, and it's an outdoor graduation ceremony for quintet, which I could do like on 1 hour of sleep and do 2% worse of a job than I would if I were warmed up and slept. So, and it's going to be fun. It's killer players. Pilkington is one of them, but you know, it's like I have nothing on the horizon. Um, so, so yeah, I just kind of I've been writing what I did the Michael Davis 20-minute warm up this morning. And I'm just getting like super in tune with the horn again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
If once the habit is in place, one thing you could play with if you wanted to, if it'd be useful, would be to um, like grade yourself on the focus
Mm-hmm.
and try and correlate it with time of day.
Mm.
Like the morning one is always an A plus, or the morning one is always a D. Like I'm in, but it was harder. But just after lunch blank, or just after, so then you could really fine tune it if you wanted to. But I don't know if I care that much.
No, that is actually something that I've talked about a lot on TEM. Dale Trumbore, who's a fantastic composer, she spoke in her interview with TEM. She talked about finding your own creative rhythm,
Yeah.
and just the way that she put it was on the money. I've quoted that in like 90 TEM since, where she, it's like morning people tend to brag about being morning people,
Hmm.
and which just and people that can't get it going in the morning and do get it going at night don't tend to brag about that, because it's kind of, I think, like the hardcore thing is to, like, it's like what was the army slogan? We've done more before we do
Yeah.
more
8 a.m.
before
there.
6 a.m. than most people do all
Yeah.
day, kind of thing, and Dale, who is a very serious, very diligent composer with the system in place, etc., she has figured out that she's not a morning person. Like, she can't do, and I like the example of a composer, because you can't just will that, right? That's not just like populating the latest Brass Junkies episode blog posts, which is just thoughtless, and you got to make sure that you have a slight attention to detail, and then you're good. It's like she has to like think up music and then put it into a computer for us to understand later. It's like you can't just like snap necessarily. She finally figured out that, and I don't remember what the numbers are she went into it, but I think that her like prime creativity doesn't start till like 1 in the afternoon or something like that, and so she stopped
Yeah.
trying. And she said when she's on a hard deadline that she can kind of manufacture it, meaning that she could manufacture it every day. But when she started paying attention, not to her body, but to her body slash the output slash the amount of energy that it took to do all of that.
Yeah.
For me, it's copywriting. Like when I'm like writing sales pages for, a Pedalant Media Academy event or that kind of thing. If it's too late in the day, then which I can actually do some really good work late at night. I record a lot of TEMs late at night, but if I'm trying to write marketing copy late at night, it's real frustrating because it's just I don't know what it is. It takes what feels like 3, 4, 5 times as much energy to do like 80% of the job of if it's like 10 a.m. and I've been up for a little while, I've been up for a while and I'm showered and I got coffee. It's like that's when I'm at peak for that kind of a thing. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that would be interesting to pay attention to. So,
Someone asked about the Doohid book, The Power Habit, which I think is that the book where he talks about larks and night owls and larks. I can't
I don't,
remember if
I
that's
don't,
that one too.
I don't know if I've read that.
Oh man, it's a good one. That really gets into the triggers thing. Biological prime time, Dave Topping there. And then I didn't know about this Modacity. Do you know this app that Dave just mentioned? It looks pretty good.
I have heard of
Recorder,
it.
metronome, tone generator, timer, note taking.
Um, yes, this is the yeah, you've heard of it too. That's the app that Mark Gelfo, who we interviewed. I think he was Brass Junkies and not TEM.
Oh, let me look.
The no, I'm sorry, he was TEM. I apologize. Yes, he was TEM 150. I thought he's also a horn player. So um, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's a fascinating dude. So
Very cool.
yeah, yeah, there are some great tools. So but speaking of which, Demondre Thurman is
Who?
yeah, he's a he teaches at is it Iowa or
Starts with an I.
it's one of the
Alaska,
it's one of the I think
Alaska,
it's like a Midwestern school. Um,
Alabama.
he's coming on Inside the Practice Room.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be really fun. He's up on May 23rd. So, and this coming Thursday is Michael Sachs, Cleveland Orchestra,
I heard of
principal
him.
trumpet. Yep, yep. So,
There you go.
and I'm actually talking with a few. I need to get the date, but with a wonderful violinist is already Matt Murchison is going to be on as well.
I didn't know he was a wonderful violinist.
It's going to be interesting to hear him talk about because he plays the euphonium and the tuba. So I'm going to be curious to see
Right.
like how he approaches that. I think that's going to be helpful to people that double, just because I don't know whether he has like heavy tuba days and or and heavy euphonium days, or if he So I said something. Your internet, your picture froze, but I bet it was inappropriate. So.
Yeah,
Um,
keep it moving.
that's going to be interesting. He's going to be, I believe, sometime in June. So, yeah,
His show is coming out, right?
it already is.
Oh, it's out. Like
First
I
three
said, his
episodes.
show is out.
I was episode 1, so
There you go.
which is a good
Is it on
way.
YouTube or where is it?
That's a good question. It's hilarious. It's really. I had a lot of
I had a
fun.
lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was. Yep. Yeah, Holtz is um let's see here. Jamil, please ask him about the UCLA Final Four run coming from a UCLA student. So there you go. I
What
will
does that mean?
sorry, not I'm sorry, not Murchison. Um
Oh,
I'm assuming he's talking about Michael Sachs. Maybe? I'm assuming he's talking about Sachs. Who I can't keep track. It's there's yeah, there's oh, by the way, I won't name names, but there was a sorry, I'm shutting my phone up because it's going to make that noise every 5 minutes. Um there was another like pretty big tuba euphonium um job that has been tenure track for a long time, and the teacher there has been killing it for a long time, and they are retiring, and they just announced their adjunct replacement. So, which is like the
uh,
third one of those in the last few years. So, yes, caution to everyone who is going into higher ed. So they can save a lot of money by paying somebody $25,000 a year rather than
hmm.
50, and it's going to keep happening. And guess what? They're going to have to do just as much work as the person who is making 2 or 3 times as much as they were. So, or they will be. So, anyway,
Right.
short, yeah. And those things, those never come back. Like tenure track positions, almost. I mean, like, I don't know. I'd love to be wrong, but I doubt that there's been some pretty high profile ones in the tuba euphonium world. I'm sure it's not alone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's never a good sign for the industry when that's the yeah. I've said enough.
Right.
Yeah, Murchison's a freak, man. He's a
Skip the repeat is what it's called.
yes. It's
I can't. Where is it?
the
Where it at? I thought because yours was done video too, right?
uh-huh.
Jennifer Gunn, Hakeem Bilal, and Andrew Hitz.
Listennotes.com has it.
Okay, well that's what I saw too. But what the hell is listennotes.com?
Yeah, I just this is, and I think that there's, I mean, he took video, but yeah, the yeah, boy, there was there's he's a funny man. He's a
I
funny
agree.
dude. Yeah, he's talented.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having him on Inside the Practice Room as well. So
He had Rick DeYoung on as well, and I
uh-huh.
was on. So
Yeah.
Rick, hey, how you doing, Rick? I'm sure you're watching.
I've been really encouraged that everyone that I have reached out to about appearing on the Inside the Practice Room, like universal reaction has been, generally when I ask them to do something like our whatever, like our trumpet workshop or tuba workshop, they're like, "Awesome, thank you for asking." But it's not novel to have like 5 trumpet players talking about trumpet stuff for a day, but to like ask somebody to like let us into their practice room, and you don't need to be novel, right? In fact, sometimes it's better to not be novel. It's better to go where people have already gone before and then just do a different job or a unique job or whatever. But the universal reaction I've gotten from this is like, wow, that's a really cool idea. That sounds awesome. So, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So there.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I got to peace out here because
Goodbye.
my wife needs to go and exercise. She runs all the time, and I've asked her to spend some time trying to figure out what she's running from, but she doesn't find it funny. Um,
So
which is
Ellen
weird.
DeGeneres joke, right?
Oh, I
You
don't
know
know.
that joke?
No.
Ellen DeGeneres said my grandfather started walking 5 miles a day. He's been doing it for 3 years. We have no idea where he is.
That's really stupid.
Uh,
There you have
all
it.
right, the geese are flying by. I gotta go.
Oh. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. And
Thank you, Andrew.
yeah, no, I thank you, Lance. And we will be in touch soon.